Hey there, it's Matt from Producer School, and we are back. It's Thursday, it's 10 a.m. my time. I'm not sure what time it is where you are, but let's make some music. So be sure to share the stream so we can get some more people in here, and be sure to leave me a comment. I want to hear what your questions are about producing. If you have any specific questions, like about music theory, or maybe drums or mixing or anything you want, let me know. And we should be live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch right now. So if anybody out there has any specific questions for me, we're going to do a lot of different genres here at Producer School. I had some people asking me about doing some rap stuff, some EDM stuff, and I'm even going to do like some rock and everything under the sun. So if you have any specific questions, be sure to leave me a comment, and I'll see if I can get to it for you. So today's lesson, I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit the last live stream on Tuesday. I was talking about how to play simple scales and how to play chords. So I'm gonna do a very in-depth tutorial on more music theory type stuff like that with chords and scales. But what somebody asked me a couple days ago when we were talking about, basically, I was showing how to, if you don't know any music theory, I was showing how you can start playing scales and chords really without any music theory knowledge. So I'll quickly review that for you. Let me share my screen here. And let me pull up my trusty piano. So what I was explaining last week, whoops, we got some samples rolling here. We're going to get to that in a minute. That'll be fun. So what we were looking at quickly last week, I'll re-show this just quickly. So with the piano, if you're trying to write chords or melodies and you're not really sure how to play, piano, or if you don't know music theory, what I was showing is that basically if you go on the C note, and this, you don't necessarily have to be on a keyboard to do this. This is also if you're in your DAW and you're working on a song, and if you pull up like the MIDI piano roll and you're trying to write a melody or some chords for your song, what you can do is just go to the C note. Those are all C. And if you stay just on the white keys and from C to C, that's going to give you a C major scale. And then if you start combining some of those notes all on the white keys, you'll get some chords. So what you can do with that is you can start kind of just sticking to the white keys to play melodies and quick little ideas. So just quick stuff like that. So that's in a major scale. That's called C major. If you wanted to play something a little darker in what we would call in a minor scale, you could do the same idea where you're sticking to all of the white keys, except you're going to actually, instead of going from C to C, you're going to go from A to A. So just by starting on the A note and going to the next A note, all the white keys again, you're going to be playing a minor scale. So it's a little bit darker. So that was the basic idea of what I was talking about yesterday, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday. So what you can do with that is, if you know the key of your song, you can take your keyboard and actually just transpose it. So what that means is if I'm in a song that's in C major and I'm trying to play with that thing I just showed you, that's going to work great. But what if I'm not in C major? What if I'm in F major? Well, what you can do is you can transpose your keyboard. Some keyboards have it built into the keyboard. Sometimes you have to do it in your DAW. But you can transpose your keyboard into F and then just play all of the white keys, and you'll be playing good stuff. What's up, Tra? Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, make sure you guys leave me a comment and say hello so I can see everybody who's in here. And once again, if you're just joining us, this is Matt from Music Producer School. I'm going over a quick recap of what we covered on Tuesday in our lesson about kind of melody and scale stuff. So be sure to share the stream and leave me a comment if you have any questions. So basically what you can do is transpose your keyboard. So let's say you're in the studio working with someone and they bring you a beat or a track and they're like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but I need a melody on top of it. Well, if you don't really know how to play the keyboard that well, it might be hard to kind of just randomly pick out notes. But if you know what key you're in, you can use this trick, transpose your keyboard into that key, and then that way you can play melodies pretty much instantly. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of show you how that works. We're going to pretend basically that somebody kind of, like one thing I like to do with hip-hop. What's up, Marche? Thanks for saying hello. What I'm going to do today is pretend like somebody brought us in. I like to do hip-hop beats and rap beats all kinds of ways, but I definitely do like to do sampled beats, which a sampled beat means you're taking an existing piece of music and you're kind of warping it and reworking it and putting some different stuff on top of it, like drums or other instruments, but you're using that sample of music kind of as the base for your track. So let me show you what I mean, and let's take a look at that. So let me pop over back into Ableton here, and I'm gonna show you. This is a library that I have called Kingsway, and we're gonna see if we can find something cool in here to use with Kingsway. I like this library. You can look them up online. I believe it's Kingsway Music, or if you type in Kingsway Library on Google, they provide you sampled stuff without any copyright stuff, so you won't get in trouble for using, somebody's pre-existing song. So let's take a look at some of these. All right. Okay, this one's probably cool. So what I'm doing in my sampler here, and I'll get into more specific stuff about with Ableton or Logic or FL Studio, anything like that. Today I'm just showing you more like a theory-based lesson. So I'm going to grab this sample right here. Okay, so I like this sample. Let's see if we can figure out what the tempo is on this. So what I was doing up here, if you look over here up in my Ableton where it says tap up here, I'm just tapping along with that beat so that I can get the tempo to set in. So it looks like it's around 81. So let me reset that and show you how I'm doing that again. I'm going to hit the note that triggers this sample on my keyboard, and then I'm just going to tap along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like we're about 81. Let's call it 82 to make it nice and round. So I'm going to grab this sample . So I'm going to actually just throw my metronome on here. And let's see if I can just play this in. These are usually more fun to play in. So let's see if I can get this. All right, that's cool. Bring this over here. And then I'm going to make sure we're on the grid here. All right, and let's loop that section. All right, and then let's get a quick little kick and snare pattern on here. So that way we can just get a little feel for the track. I'm just gonna put a simple kick and snare in here. Something like this, and a simple snare. And we'll loop that. All right, so what I'm going to do now, since we have our sample in there, is I'm going to actually just freeze this track, and I'm going to turn it into audio, and I'll get, once again, more into the audio and MIDI stuff, and then I'm going to get some of this lined up to the grid. All right, cool. So what I wanted to explain to you guys now is I don't know what the key of this track is. I just grabbed this sample, so I'm not really sure what it is. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna pull up my piano again over here. So what I wanted to show you today was basically how you can kind of figure out, because someone had asked me, well, how do you figure out the key of what song you're in? So I'm going to show you that now. So we're going to play this sample. I'm going to mute the drums for a second. And I'm going to bring up my keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, while the track is playing, I'm just going to look for notes on the keyboard, and I'm just going to try and find that one note that sounds like it fits with the track, the correct note pitch. So we're going to play. There it is, the A. So what we figured out right there is that our key is A. Now we got to figure out if it's A major or A minor. Again, the major is a little more of a happy kind of sound. The minor is a little darker kind of sound. So if I go back to my keyboard and I play A major, and I'm going to play that against the track, and then I'm going to play A minor against the track, and we'll see which one sounds better. Here's A major. Not so good. Let's try A minor. There it is. So we know that our track now is in A minor, and that actually works pretty well, because what I was showing you is in the keyboard example I was just showing you earlier, if we play any of our notes from A to A, that is the A minor scale. So what we could do then is play any of these white notes against this track, and it's going to sound pretty decent. So let's try that and see what it sounds like. So just like that, we're able to start throwing a melody on something. And again, you don't necessarily need to know that much music theory. So what I wanted to show you also today along the same lines was, that one was kind of easy because it happened to be in A minor. So we're on all of the white keys from A to A. But what if this track wasn't in A minor? So let's transpose this. Let's say up. Let's actually transpose it down, and I'm not 100% sure what we're in right now. So it's the same principle. I'm gonna pull up the keyboard and figure out what key we're in here. There it is. So we're in D. So D, we don't have the ability to just play all of the white keys in D. The white key trick only works in C and A, C major and A minor, because they go together. So what happens in D if we want to play D minor? Well, if we just play from D to D, the white keys, that's not a minor scale. We actually have to start using some of the black keys for that. So if you're not, once again, very familiar with music theory and scales, and you want to start playing along with stuff like this pretty quickly, what you can do is say, okay, let me take this this delay off here real quick. So we want to be able to play a D minor scale, but we don't know the D minor scale. So this is where you can start using some tricks in your DAW. I'm going to show you this in Ableton, but you can actually do this on a lot of keyboards allow you to do this. I'm just using a small one today, and it doesn't have it in the keyboard. So I'm just going to do it in the software, and let me show you what I mean. So if I'm playing D, but I don't know the D minor scale, what I want to be able to do is use that white key trick, the A to A trick, because I know that's a correct minor scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transpose, and I'm going to count the notes that it takes me to get from A to D. So you can go down or up either way. So if I start on A, but I really want the keyboard to be playing D, I'm going to start here on A, and then I'm going to count the notes up from A to D. So I need to go from A to D. So let's count from A. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes 5 notes to get up to D, sorry. It takes 5 notes, and you have to count the black keys when you're going up for this. So again, I'm going from A, and I'm starting on the first note after it, which is A sharp. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 semitones, they're called, that I need to transpose my keyboard. So I'm going to go into my keyboard here, and Ableton has these cool MIDI effects. One of them is called pitch. So I'm going to put the pitch effect down here, and I'm going to transpose up 5 like we just counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now when I'm playing my A note, it's actually going to be a D. So when I play this track that's now that we put into D and it's in D minor, I can use my all white keys trick to start playing a melody along with this new key of this track. So again, I'm just sticking to all the white keys there, and I'm just able to kind of play freely without having to think, oh, should I play this for this scale or this black key or whatever. I'm just able to play all the white keys. And I really like this trick, and I like to teach it to people early on because it allows you to start playing. If you think about it, if you know how to use this trick, any piece of music that someone brings you in the studio and they say, hey, I need you to write a melody to this, you know, like you need like some kind of standout melody part for it, you'll be able to take this trick and, like I said, if it's a happier major key, just play from C to C and make sure you transpose your keyboard into the key of the music that you're playing to. And you could do it with any key. So we just went from the key of A minor to D minor, but we could do it with any key. So once you know that, you can start playing melodies along with any song. And then the other nice thing again is, like I said, once you do this trick, you can also play chords on all of the white keys as well. So I'll throw some chords on this as well. Just using the white keys. So just like that, I'm just sticking to the white keys, easy as can be, and I can just start experimenting with different combinations of white keys, and you'll get some happy little accidents when you do that as well. So I wanted to basically answer that question that someone had asked about how to find the key of the song. Basically, you listen to the music, get a simple piano pulled up, and just start poking around the keyboard until you can find that one note that really matches, and then figure out whether it's a major key or a minor key. And let me quickly show you. Let me turn my pitch off here. And let me show you really quickly once again the difference between major and minor. So if we're doing a major, like I said, C to C, all you have to do for a chord is skip one of the white keys. So start on C, then skip the D, and then play the E. And you see that's called the major third. And then skip the F and play the G. That's a C major chord. That's a C major chord. So if you want to play a minor key, all you have to do is take that middle note, that E, and drop it down a semitone, which means just go to the next note down, which is the black key, D sharp or E flat. So now we're playing C minor. A little darker sounding. And then we go back to C major. So that's the difference between major and minor. Now on the A keys, since that is the A minor scale, that's already a minor scale. So when we do the same, skip in the white key, start on A, skip a key, C, skip a key, E, that's going to be an A minor. So if we want to play major going from minor, it's the same thing. We take that middle key. We're already in minor, so we need to go up a semitone. So whenever you're going from major down to a minor, you take that note, that middle note down to make it minor. And then when you want to play major, you're raising that middle note up. So with a lot of especially like rap music, a lot of it's written in minor keys. So oftentimes I would say go to your minor key first. I'd say probably about 90% of rap and hip hop is written in minor keys. EDM kind of goes back and forth between minor and major, and you're gonna, just because it's in a minor key doesn't mean that it's all minor chords. It just means that the root chord that the song kind of centers around is in a minor key, giving it kind of that darker feel. But that's a good way to start if you're not really sure about this music theory stuff. Start learning, like actually, grab some of your favorite songs, start playing them, and, throw them in your DAW if you can, and just start poking around on your keyboard and start figuring out the keys of your songs. Because once you can figure out the key of any song that you're playing, you'll, like I said, especially with this trick that I'm showing you with the white keys on the keyboard, you'll be able to play chords, you'll be able to play melodies to any song. And once you can do that, you'll be able to go into the studio. Like in my experience, pretty much everybody, because rhythm is so inherent for everybody, well, most people anyway. If you have a bad sense of rhythm, you might not be ready to produce yet. But most of us start off being able to produce and do drums really well, because we just, we feel it, and it's just pretty simple to kind of figure out at first. Now, I'm going to show plenty of tricks with drums, but the reason why I start with this melody and chord stuff is because that, in my experience, is what really separates good producers from, I don't want to call them phonies, but I've been in the studio with a lot of people that I can tell that they were just searching, poking around, hoping to find some cool melody or some cool chords, and they'd be in there all day and not really find anything. Sometimes you get lucky, and some people I noticed were actually kind of pretty good at just guessing stuff. But trust me, once you learn how to figure out what key any piece of music is in, and then you can use these tricks to start playing any chords or melodies, people will come in the studio and you'll blow their mind, because they have not probably experienced many producers that they worked with that are able to just, essentially what you can do with this is you can remix basically anything. So if you start playing a little chord pattern to a piece of music, like let's say that an artist comes in and says, oh man, I really like this sample from this old 70s, 1970s song, and you throw it in, and the sample's cool, but it's like, okay, well, we got to throw something of our own on it now. And that's what trips a lot of people up, because anybody can take a sample and throw some drums on it. That's not that hard. But putting some new chords on it and making it sound fresh and sound new, that's what really is tricky. So once you start learning how to do this technique, like I said, even if you don't know music theory, you're going to be able to jump right in and you'll figure out the key, and then you can start instantly. Like I said, you don't have to worry about too many scales or anything. All you would have to do is stick to the white keys, whether you're in a major or a minor key, and you can start playing around with different melodies instantly. And that's the thing in the studio that you got to understand. I've worked in studios for about 15 years, and when people are coming into the studio and they're paying you by the hour, they don't really like sitting around while you're fumbling around on the keyboard. They want to hear cool stuff instantly. And that's what this trick is all about. If you can start playing cool stuff instantly, they're going to immediately say, oh, okay, this dude knows what he's doing. We're cool. And then you'll actually get more time to play around, because they're going to be like, okay, the first idea was cool. I don't really want to roll with that one. Let's try another one. And then you say, okay, I'll just try some other pattern on the white keys. And instantly you'll be able to start telling them, okay, this is cool. Let's keep doing this, or you can move on to a different pattern. But basically that's the key, is you want to be able to work with speed in the studio. And you don't want to be able to just, do things quickly and not sound good. You need them to be quick and to sound good. So with that, I think I'm going to end the lesson here today. I'm going to be preparing some more stuff for our next lesson. Also, I did want to show you guys this really quickly. If you're still watching, I just put up on my website, which if you go to musicproducer.school, and let me share my screen here with you. If you go to musicproducer.school, it'll bring you to my online store. And I just put up another free product on there called Inspirational Quotes. So if you just go to musicproducer.school and type that into your search bar, it'll bring up my website here. And everybody's doing online school these days, so the internet's running kind of slow. We'll wait for it to load here. Let me try and see if I can reload. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of Ableton. And get out of my keyboard here. Okay, so if you go to my website, musicproducer.school, you'll see down here under featured products, I have something called Inspirational Quotes for Producers. It's free. All you have to do is put it in your bag and check out. And what this is it's 365 different quotes with a nice studio related background. That's going to be something inspirational for you. What I like to do is actually put these on my desktop, and you can set it to where your desktop gives you a new, it's called wallpaper, I believe, and you can do a new one every day. So every day when you get onto your computer to sit down to work in the studio, you'll have you a nice inspirational quote to look at with a nice studio background behind it. Just something to kind of, inspire you. And it's just something cool to keep on your desktop whenever you're kind of needing some inspiration. So I have 365 of these in this pack. It's completely free. So I would encourage you to go to musicproducer.school. I believe if you also go to musicproducerschool.com, it will bring you to the same place. Yes. So either one of those, musicproducerschool.com or else musicproducer.school, and you can go pick up the free inspirational quotes for producers, and that's something cool to leave on your desktop for whenever you need a little motivation. We can all use some motivation sometimes. So go grab those. I'll be announcing on the Facebook page when the next online lesson will be. So y'all be sure to follow the page. Make sure you share this live stream and share the page for your friends that produce. Definitely would like to get some more people in here so we can all have some fun together. Thank you, Tra and Marche, for the comments. I appreciate it. And once again, if you guys have any specific questions, be sure to leave me a comment or else send me a message on the Facebook page. That's the best place to find me, at the Music Producer School. All right, y'all have a good one. I'll see you.